Oh, hey, Casey, are you there?
I am here.
Oh, yay. All right. So you know what today is?
No.
Well, it's Daily Bible Podcast Day.
Oh, yeah. That's what we're doing here, right?
Yeah, that's why we've got the little Daily Bible thing out and why I took notes at the meeting beforehand.
Oh, yes. Our before podcast meetings. Those are always so much fun. You know, we should record those for patrons or something.
That's not a bad idea.
I know.
Anyways, become a patron. So, today we're talking about laws of special crimes. And first we're going to be talking about crimes against men, a.k.a. people. First is homicide, which it's homo-side, by the way. And we're going to be talking about different types of anal that can be penetrated and killing people.
No.
And then there's feticide, which I thought we established beforehand that fetuses weren't worth anything monetarily, so I don't know why there's like a whole crime against it or whatever in the Bible.
Monetarily? What does that even mean?
And then of course mayhem, that's a big no. You can't rape a married woman. And we'll get into the reasons surrounding that one, and then there's also assault. But then we got to get to the crimes against women and other inanimate objects.
Property.
Property, women. It's the same thing in the Bible. Don't steal women. Don't thieve personal women,
Property.
And also don't steal real women.
Property.
Yeah. What's up, heathens? How y'all doing?
Hi, y'all.
Hey there, KC.
How's it going?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously I got some things wrong in the very beginning there.
Obviously.
So you're here to set me correct.
Yes.
And
I definitely don't know what homo-side is. Definitely not what we're talking about. And we're not talking about anal.
Oh, you know me. Anyways, so we're going to be talking about laws and shit, and Casey's going to correct me on it because obviously I misread a few words here and there.
Obviously.
Yeah. So, all right, Casey, what are we starting off with today?
Well, so today we're going to start this section. We're going to talk about laws of special crimes, also known as laws against society. Okay, so the very first thing you need to know about laws against society, Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 17, you shall not murder. Right?
Right. Unless it's a lawful killing, which is not murder.
Right. Or if God says to murder somebody, then it's fine. Or, like, if you're fighting in a war against somebody, that's fine. Or, like, if somebody crosses the border, that's fine.
It's almost like murder is a man-made construct.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah, it's odd.
Yeah.
Anyways, so, all right, don't murder a motherfucker.
Right. So, crimes against the person, okay? We're going to start off with homicide.
Homicide. Right. Does that include, like, women? I mean, they are property, so I wouldn't think that women would be included in the whole murder aspect.
Well, I mean, we'll read through. You're going to get the typical language of man.
I still thought you were going with, you're going to get the tip.
Yeah, no. So you're going to get the typical language of man. So you can decide on whether or not that means men and women. It probably does mean men and women. If somebody kills a woman, it's probably a problem.
Well, yeah, you're killing the baby maker.
Yeah.
God, and plus it's property. I mean, surely a man can kill his wife without any kind of problems.
No. So the chapter or the books that we're going to be going through in this section, you know how the laws are categorized differently. These verses are from Exodus, Numbers. Let's see, we've got some Deuteronomy, and I think that's all for laws against people. Numbers, Exodus, and Deuteronomy. All right?
Okay.
So the first part in homicide is about premeditated murder. All right? Anyone who strikes a man and kills him shall surely be put to death. However, if he does not do it intentionally, but God lets it happen, he is to flee to a place I will designate. But if a man schemes and kills another man deliberately, take him away from my altar and put him to death.
How do you accidentally strike somebody? Like, I don't understand that whole portion. Like, if God deems it okay, like, I guess I don't understand
I don't know. Like the other day when I was coming in and I had drinks in my hand and Xander came up behind me and scared the shit out of me, I about karate chopped his ass.
Oh, okay.
Like he scared the fuck out of me. So you could like act like that would have been like a reaction kind of thing. Or maybe like if somebody was walking up behind you and you were building a house and you had like a big fucking sledgehammer or something and you swing it back and you know, hit somebody in the head and kill them. That's an accident, right?
Yeah, but this is purely about striking them.
Well, that would be striking if you hit them with a fucking sledgehammer.
Well, yeah, I know, but I mean, just think about it. If you accidentally hit somebody, like with your fists or something, and then you've got to flee town to a designated area. I mean, how ridiculous is that?
Well, like everybody in that designated area killed somebody. FYI, don't go to that part of town. It's probably near the train tracks.
But I mean, like it says strike. It doesn't necessarily say kill, or does it? Does it mean kill by strike? Because I mean, not every punch kills a guy.
Yeah, if you kill somebody, this whole section is about killing people.
No, I understand. I'm just being pedantic about the wording.
Okay, can we move on to intentional murder?
Okay.
Okay. If anyone with malice, aforethought, shoves another or throws something at him intentionally so that he dies, or if in hostility he hits him with his fist so that he dies, that person shall be put to death. He is a murderer. The avenger of blood shall put the murderer to death when he meets him. What the fuck? There is a person in Israel titled the Avenger of Blood.
Can you imagine his mask for that? It's got like little blood droplets on his mask, and like every blood droplet is a soul he's avenged.
I don't know. Like I see it as like a mucho libre mask, like some sort of Mexican wrestler. Freak like leather mask.
Jew wrestler, by the way.
Oh yeah,
he's gonna be
Jew
a Jew
wrestler. But that doesn't make sense. Like, because I don't know, are any wrestlers?
He's a Jew assassin. Actually, at this point, don't you think?
Wouldn't the Avenger of Blood be God?
Well, I mean, obviously, this is one of the lower like little pedestals.
This is like one of the appointments.
Yeah,
like God's appointed somebody called the Avenger.
Yeah,
of Blood.
You know, like there's the king, and then there's the Avenger of Blood. Dost thou fetch the Avenger of the Blood?
I swear to you, as many times as I have read the Bible, I don't know why I have never caught Avenger of Blood. I mean, Numbers is not exactly a thrilling book. I'm just saying, like, Avenger of Blood.
Look, that is officially the title of this episode. I was considering something that made sense, but nope. Avenger of Blood. The Jewish Avenger of Blood.
You could be, like, the Avenger of Blood for Halloween.
That would be fun. No, I think for that one it would have to be a mix. Avenger of Blood, but like bloody foreskins.
Oh. Like you're doing a wedding that day. Yeah. And we might want to stay away from the foreskins.
You don't want to get those justice tears on anything.
My God. We have spent way too much time on this section, but Avenger of Blood deserved it.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. It seems it's ridiculous. I don't know why that has to be a designated position.
I think it's awesome.
Who do you think is the current Avenger of Blood?
I don't know. Well, maybe that Nazi immigration lawyer. What the fuck is his name?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know Nazi shit.
No, not like Hitler Nazi, but like
neo-Nazi.
Yeah. What's his name? Stephen Miller. That Trump immigration lawyer, Stephen Miller. I think he would be the Avenger of Blood. Yeah. All right. Of course, it's kind of hard to be a Nazi and a Jew. Right?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's kind of, I don't know. Is that like a self-hating Jew kind of thing? Anyways, let's move on. Avenger of Blood does something with the murders.
Okay. All right. Next section. Murder by instrument. If a man strikes someone with an iron object so that he dies, he is a murderer. The murderer shall be put to death. Or if anyone has a stone in his hand that could kill, and he strikes someone so that he dies, he is a murderer. The murderer shall be put to death. Or if anyone has a wooden object in his hands that could kill, and he hits someone so that he dies, he is a murderer. That murderer shall be put to death. I don't know why we have to call out specific instruments.
You know, when they said if somebody's holding something wooden in their hand and they killed another person, I just imagined a guy with like a 10-foot dick, like spearing another guy.
Of course, that's what you imagined.
Like, he's holding wood, sir. Oh, well, you know, he's not wrong.
All right. So, next section. There are to be legal requirements for you throughout the generations to come wherever you live. Anyone who kills a person is to be put to death as a murderer only on the testimony of witnesses. But no one is to be put to death on the testimony of only one witness.
Okay, so, I mean, you just got to get a couple people. Like,
yeah, but if there aren't if there aren't multiple witnesses, then you can't put somebody to death.
No, who says they got to be witnesses?
What are you talking about?
Well, I'm just saying, like, you kill somebody and then you convince your 3 friends to lie for you about who killed him. You could easily frame somebody.
We've already talked about this. You're not allowed to lie.
Well,
you can't.
I don't think that this is preventing people from lying, though.
False testimony. You're not allowed to give false testimony. We already went through that.
No, I understand that you're not allowed to give false testimony, but that still doesn't prevent people from lying about things.
Well, that's true, but then they'll burn in the fiery pits of hell.
Well, yeah, but also, I mean, anything will send you to the fiery pits of hell. I mean, goddamn, God opened up the fucking Sarlacc pit beneath his own people.
I know, that was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm just saying that, like, I don't know, I just don't see it actually preventing, like, you're gonna burn in hell. Well, actually, no. I mean, the hell doesn't exist in the Old Testament.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know
you're
what
You're separated from your people. You're separated,
right.
Well, you're separated from God.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, I mean, maybe 3 people like, I could do without God.
I mean,
just saying.
Given this book of rules, I would want to do without God.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, again, this is just a book of rules. And I mean, obviously, like if you take now with Christians, they don't follow even the New Testament most of the time. So I don't really foresee the Jews following this Old Testament. Like, I don't care how fucking savage your society is.
But even if you look at this, like, how do you look at this and be like, seems reasonable?
Yeah. And also a lot of fucks today like to say that like our court system or our government or whatnot is based on biblical standards and whatnot. That is ridiculous, especially when you get to these things right here, because eyewitness testimony is so much lower than actual physical evidence. Like, it's regarded lower, like as far as reliability goes and all that stuff, to physical evidence, like actual evidence.
Well, yeah, now. Yeah.
Well, yeah, now. But I mean, that just goes to show how flawed the system was and how our system is not based on any of that. Agreed.
Okay, so you're also not allowed to accept ransom for the life of a murderer. So, like, if a murderer's family goes to the Avenger of Blood and says, here, take our money and don't kill our family member, the Avenger of Blood is not allowed to take ransom money. He has to kill motherfucker.
I would be afraid he would kill me for offering him. Like, how many times do you think this happened before people were like, oh shit, they're serious about about law 5AC?
Yeah, for real. Okay, the next part is reasons for the death penalty, okay?
Well, it seems like there's literally anything that is the reason for the death penalty.
Yeah, which is weird because this is only 2 verses. So
you thump a motherfucker in the face, oh, you're gonna get killed.
Okay, so do not pollute the land where you are.
Don't take a shit.
No, pollute.
That's pretty polluting, don't you think?
Well, when you do it. Okay, bloodshed pollutes the land. An atonement cannot be made for the land on which blood has been shed, except by the blood of the one who shed it.
Okay, so if you cut a motherfucker, then you got to cut yourself to make up for it.
Yes.
Okay, I see them being dumb enough to do that. You can't,
slaughter lambs and doves and shit and be atoned. Your sins be taken away.
Can you imagine that? It's like, how many more doves do we need? I don't know. Get all of them over here. It's not working.
Do not defile the land where you live, where I dwell, for I, the Lord, dwell among the Israelites. Of course you do. Okay, crime prevention defense. Ready? Crime prevention in the Bible. All right. If a thief is caught breaking in and is struck so that he dies, the defender is not guilty of bloodshed. But if it happens after sunrise, he is guilty of bloodshed.
Oh, so you can only do it at night.
Yeah.
Let all of you Christians be wary of killing people in your own homes.
During the day. Like, if somebody breaks in during the day, you're not allowed to kill them, or else that's, murder and you have to die.
So it's not biblical if it's during the day. If the sun's out, you're fucked.
Yep. All right. Manslaughter.
All right.
But if without hostility, someone suddenly shoves another or throws something at him unintentionally, I don't know how you throw anyway, or without seeing him, drops a stone on him that could kill him and he dies, then since he was not his enemy and did not intend to harm him, the assembly must judge between him and the Avenger of blood according to these regulations.
They have to do what with the event? Like
they have to decide between him and the Avenger of blood.
Well, I mean, what do they have to decide between? Like, do we kill the Avenger of blood? Do we kill this guy? No. I don't know who to sacrifice in this instance.
They mean, do they save him and go with his side, or do they side with the Avenger of blood and kill him a fucker?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they have to make a decision based on intent.
Well, who is they? Is it like the local people? Like, is there a crowd around
the assembly?
them?
Like the assembly of priests.
Oh, assembly. Okay.
Yeah. They set up a judicial system and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, I could see how somebody might draw the conclusion that this right here is like part of our current judicial system. Like, I don't know. It's like Miss Cleo getting something right. I mean, these kind of laws were in effect well before the Bible. So I don't want to hear shit about how we're based on this shit. But anyways, I just want to know, how do you accidentally shove somebody so hard they die? How do you do that?
Well, I mean, so if you shove someone and they end up like impaled on something.
Oh, okay.
Or if you shove somebody and they fall backward and get impaled on a branch or something, or if you shove them and they end up on, I mean, I know there weren't train tracks back then, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you accidentally shove them into traffic, or accidentally shove them and a horse runs over them or something. You know what I mean? Like, if something crazy weird happens.
Traffic moved pretty slow back then, so I'm guessing if you pushed them out in front of them, I mean, I imagine the horse would just stop and be like, "The fuck, bro."
I'm trying to apply this throughout.
I know.
Okay. The assembly must protect the one accused of murder from the Avenger of blood and send him back to the city of refuge to which he fled. He must stay there until the death of the high priest, who was anointed with holy oil.
What?
So if you accidentally kill somebody, you have to go to that city of refuge and you have to stay there until the high priest dies.
So you're banished until the high priest dies, and those motherfuckers live till like 120, okay?
Yeah.
It's like, the high priest is still around. Can I come back? Nope. Fuck me. I'm gonna die out here.
Okay, so I looked up the Avenger of Blood because I was interested.
This is the Avenger of Blood episode.
Okay, so the Avenger of Blood is the nearest relative of a murdered person. It is that person's right and duty to slay their murderer if he found him outside of a city of refuge. So it's actually, anybody can be an Avenger of Blood. It's basically the next of kin to the murdered person.
Oh. And they can kill the person as long as they're outside the city of refuge.
Yeah.
So, like, if you get banished to the city...
Not only can they, it's their responsibility.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's kind of odd how now it's a responsibility to kill a motherfucker, but earlier it was against the law.
Hey.
Specifics.
Yes. Okay. Innocent homicide. This is the rule concerning the man who kills another and flees there to save his life. One who kills his neighbor unintentionally without malice aforethought. For instance, a man may go into the forest with his neighbor to cut wood. As he swings back his axe, to fell a tree, the head may fly off and hit his neighbor and kill him. That man may flee to one of those cities to save his life. Otherwise, the Avenger of blood might pursue him in a rage, overtake him if the distance is too great, and kill him, even though he is not deserving of death, since he did it to his neighbor without malice aforethought.
This is honor killings. This is all this is. The Bible condones honor killings. Yeah, well, I mean, he has to flee to a certain fucking city in order to be saved from it. And if he doesn't, then the Avenger of blood can just come in and kill him without any repercussions.
Yep.
I mean, it's an honor killing. That's what this is, an honor killing. Okay.
All right.
I didn't know that. Interesting fun fact, though, that I'm sure I'll create a meme about.
All right. So, you want to talk a little more about the cities of refuge?
Sure.
Okay. So the Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, when you cross the Jordan into Canaan, select some towns to be your cities of refuge, to which a person who has killed someone accidentally may flee. They will be places of refuge from the Avenger, so that a person accused of murder may not die before he stands trial before the assembly. These 6 towns you give will be your cities of refuge. Give 3 on this side of the Jordan and 3 in Canaan as cities of refuge. These 6 towns will be a place of refuge for Israelites, aliens, and any other people living among them, so that anyone who has killed another accidentally can flee there."
You just imagine it now. Hey, where'd your Uncle Bobby go to? Oh, he had to flee to one of the refuge cities. Oh, what'd he do? Well, he was in the woods one day and his axe head fell off and killed my uncle. Oh, you mean the brother? Yeah, I mean, but, you know, fuck, the other brother is almost going to kill him, so he had to flee to the countryside.
That sounded like my brother Daryl and my other brother Daryl kind of story. Okay, so the 3 cities in Canaan. When the Lord your God has destroyed the nations whose land he is giving you, and when you have driven them out and settled in their towns and houses, then set aside for yourselves 3 cities centrally located in the land the Lord your God is giving you to possess. Build roads to them and divide into 3 parts the land the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance, so that anyone who kills a man may flee there. Again, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the one we talked about a minute ago was in Numbers. This one we just read was in Deuteronomy. Okay, so there's a provision for more cities. Okay, this is also in Deuteronomy chapter 19. This is why I command you to set aside for yourselves 3 cities. If the Lord your God enlarges your territory as he promised on oath to your forefathers and gives you the whole land he promised them, because you carefully follow all these laws I command you today, to love the Lord your God and to walk always in his ways, then you are to set aside 3 more cities. Do this so that innocent blood will not be shed in your land, which the Lord your God is giving you as your inheritance, so that you will not be guilty of bloodshed.
So they set up the cities so that innocent blood won't be spilled.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, even though a person kills another person, they're still innocent.
If they do it accidentally.
Right, but it's even though they're innocent and the Avenger of blood comes and kills the innocent person, then they still suffer no repercussions. Like, well, I don't know, this just sounds fucky.
So what they do is they go to the city to await trial by the assembly. It's so they don't get killed in the meantime.
Right. Okay, so just imagine this. You've got, like, let's say Chicago, Philadelphia, and New York are your sanctuary cities.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine society now that if somebody accidentally runs another person over, has a car wreck and accidentally kills another person, just imagine that person's next of kin or whatnot killing a motherfucker and it being okay. Like, can you really imagine a society based on that?
No.
Unless you can make it to Chicago, where you're most likely to die anyways, then you're going to get killed. So, I mean, it seems like a no-win situation there.
Yeah. It's pretty fucky.
To be honest, in the earlier example in the book, with the axe head killing the other person,
mm-hmm.
I think the person meant to kill him.
I don't know, maybe not. So here's what happens if you go outside the cities, and you need to be there because you kill somebody.
Okay.
If the accused ever goes outside the limits of the city of refuge to which he has fled, and the Avenger of Blood finds him outside the city, the Avenger of Blood may kill the accused without being guilty of murder. The accused must stay in his city of refuge until the death of the high priest. Only after the death of the high priest may he return to his own property.
That's ridiculous. Anyways.
Cities not for murderers. This is still in Deuteronomy. But if a man hates his neighbor and lies in wait for him, assaults and kills him, and then flees to one of these cities, the elders of his town shall send for him, bring him back from the city, and hand him over to the Avenger of Blood to die. Show him no pity. You must purge from Israel the guilt of shedding innocent blood, so that it may go well with you.
I mean, how do they verify that this person actually did the act?
Well, I don't know, because they don't actually get... Well, even if they know that he did it, they have to prove that he did it on purpose and that he planned it, right, versus like, oh, I accidentally killed him.
Well, right. And if memory serves, you have to have at least 2 witnesses to say that. So, like, if you and your homeboy go out into the woods and he ends up dying, I mean, how is anybody going to corroborate anything?
They can't.
Every death in the woods is accidental. Well,
so here's the thing. You're confusing the witnesses. The witnesses don't say you didn't do it. The witnesses are there to say you did do it. So if there aren't 2 people to say you did,
then there's no crime.
There's no crime, except the Avenger of Blood will kill you.
So if an axe head chops off another man's head in the woods, but there's nobody there other than the murderer to witness it, did it actually happen? Next up on the Bible.
Okay, so also no ransom for manslayers. Do not accept a ransom for anyone who has fled to a city of refuge, and so allow him to go back and live on his own land before the death of the high priest. Okay?
Okay.
Next up, now that we've gotten through homicide.
You know, we should really get a lawyer in on this, shouldn't we? If there are lawyers that listen to this show, we could use your services.
Okay, feticide.
Okay.
All right. These are both in Exodus. First, we're going to talk about miscarriage. If men who are fighting hit a pregnant woman and she gives birth prematurely, but there is no serious injury, the offender must be fined whatever the woman's husband demands and the court allows.
Can you imagine punching a woman so hard in the stomach she gives birth right there?
Well, either she gives birth prematurely or she has a miscarriage.
Oh, okay.
So if one of those 2 things happen, then the woman's husband just gets to demand whatever he wants, and the court can say yay or nay, and they have to pay it.
I want his testicles on a plate. It's like, oh, that's a weird fucking thing to ask for. I mean, what would you ask for in that situation?
Okay, so next up, harm to the mother. If there is serious injury, you are to take life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, bruise for bruise. So, yeah.
So it's like, I can live without a foot. I'll just cut off your foot there, bitch.
It's like somebody trying to decide what kind of assault they're going to put on somebody. It's like, what can I do without? What can I withstand? And that's what I can do to this person.
I need both hands. Anyways.
Okay. So kidnapping. Anyone who kidnaps another and either sells him or still has him when he is caught must be put to death.
Okay, but if you sell them before you get caught, it's fine. Is that right?
No. Either sells him or still has him when he's caught.
Oh, okay.
Must be put to death. So if you kidnap somebody, you have to be put to death. All right. There is a special regulation, though, in Deuteronomy about this. If a man is caught kidnapping one of his brother Israelites and treats him as a slave or sells him, the kidnapper must die. You must purge evil from among you.
So what I'm getting at here is that all of Joseph's brothers should have been fucking killed.
Yes, because, yes.
Well, of course, this was like 1,000 years ago?
Oh, yeah, this was way after.
Yeah, so, I don't know. God's a little late to the party with this one.
Okay. Mayhem?
Mayhem. It's like that guy in that, what is it, a Geico commercial?
Yes.
Is it Geico? Yeah. I think
No.
it's Geico. Or is it State Farm?
It's not State Farm.
One of the insurance commercials. Mayhem.
Yeah, I don't remember which one he's for. Allstate.
Is it Allstate? Okay.
No, maybe not. Allstate is the guy who used to be president on 24.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, who's the people? The people will tell us. All right. Disfigurement. If anyone injures his neighbor, whatever he has done must be done to him. Fracture for fracture, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. As he has injured the other, so he is to be injured.
Okay. So like if you punch a guy and give him a black eye, it's like, oh, now you gotta get a black eye, motherfucker.
Yep. For sure. All right. Maiming of a slave is not cool. You ready? If a man hits his manservant or maidservant in the eye and destroys it, he must let the servant go free to compensate for the eye. And if he knocks out the tooth of a manservant or maidservant, he must let the servant go free to compensate for the tooth. So, when you're beating your slaves, Christians, Jews, when you're beating your slaves, don't destroy their eye or knock out their tooth. Otherwise, you're fine.
Yeah, you can beat the fuck out of them. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Remember, they do have to survive at least 3 days after the beating, though.
Yeah.
I think we get to that later.
Yeah. All right, so rape. A lot of people say the Bible says nothing about rape, but that's not entirely true. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Deuteronomy chapter 22. But if out in the country a man happens to meet a girl pledged to be married, so somebody who's betrothed to another.
Engaged.
Okay. And he rapes her, only the man who has done this shall die. Do nothing to the girl. She has committed no sin deserving death. This case is like that of someone who attacks and murders his neighbor. For the man found the girl out in the country, and though the betrothed girl screamed, there was no one to rescue her.
Okay, so she has to scream. If she doesn't scream, then she gets killed too?
Also, I don't know how this works with the fucking 2-witness rule.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would assume that you'd have to have 2 witnesses to stand there and watch the rape happen.
But it starts out if out in the country,
right?
Like
and
if
screams
she's alone,
and there's nobody
if there's nobody
yeah.
there and she screams, like
I don't know.
How does this not?
Seems contradictory.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how this works. Okay, when you're not betrothed, all right?
Okay.
If a man happens to meet a virgin, hey, just because you ain't betrothed don't mean you're virginal.
But remember, ladies, your entire worth is in your vagina. That's basically what this is saying. Because it says, raping a girl is like killing her.
That's not what they said.
Well, they said that it's like killing your neighbor.
No, they're just talking about the punishment.
Well, I don't know. It seemed to me like they were using it in comparison. It seems like if, she's raped, now she's ruined. And I think that that's very detrimental.
But it says she has done nothing wrong. I mean, it specifically says do nothing to the girl. She has committed no sin deserving death.
Well, right. She hasn't committed anything to deserve death, but I mean, she has been
defiled.
Well,
okay, so when they're not betrothed, if a man happens to meet a virgin who is not pledged to be married and he rapes her and they are discovered, he shall pay the girl's father 50 shekels of silver. He must marry the girl for he has violated her. He can never divorce her as long as he lives.
I like how in this instance right here, a lot of Christians interpret this rape as just have sex with, right?
Yeah.
But then in the previous thing, they'll interpret that as rape, and they'll tout it as like the Bible being very much against rape. Which I get that particular instance right there is about rape, but
this is only if they're discovered.
Well, yeah, I know, only if they're discovered.
Yeah, if they're not discovered, she's been raped. There's no witnesses. There's no crime.
Oh yeah, the specifics surrounding it are indeed horrible.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that a lot of Christians like to paint this as it being consensual sex.
Oh.
And not rape. And so I think that it's very ambiguous, at least in these translations. I don't know. I'll have to go back and look at the original Greek to see how they do it.
Yeah. You read a lot of original Greek.
I do. Well, I mean, I look up Greek and the translations for each word.
I'm just messing with you.
Okay.
All right, are you ready to move on to assault?
Yeah.
Striking parents. This is Exodus, by the way. Chapter 21. Anyone who attacks his father or mother must be put to death.
Oh, shit. There was this one time I punched my stepfather.
Yeah.
I should have been put to death, apparently.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. Okay. Permanent injury. If men quarrel and one hits the other with a stone or with his fist or any other kind of tool, and he does not die but is confined to bed, the one who struck the blow will not be held responsible if the other gets up and walks around outside with his staff. However, he must pay the injured man for the loss of his time and see that he is completely healed. This is really fucking weird. Like, hey, everything's cool if you like get up and walk around outside with your staff.
Walk it off, bitch. Walk it off.
Walk it off. Here's a staff, pussy. Surviving slave. If a man beats his male or female slave with a rod and the slave dies as a direct result, he must be punished. But he is to not be punished if the slave gets up after a day or two, since the slave is his property.
Yeah, so you can freely beat the slave with your rod until he can't walk for 2 days.
You know what that reminds me of? What's that movie, White Girls, when the guy's like, once you go black, you're going to need a wheelchair.
Where's Reginald? He had a commission.
Okay, interference by women or by woman. If two men are fighting and the wife of one of them comes to rescue her husband from his assailant and she reaches out and seizes him by his private parts, you shall cut off her hand. Show her no pity. So, ladies, if your husband is fighting another man, don't jump in there and grab the other guy's nuts, because your hand's going to get cut off. It's just...
How bad of a problem was this at the time?
I don't know. But apparently it was enough of a problem to fucking write about it.
This is like those weird laws in states like you can't wear brown pants on Thursdays.
Or you can't walk around with ice cream in your back pocket. Yeah.
It's like you can't go and grab the nuts, honey. Damn it, now I gotta cut off your hand.
Well, if you accidentally, like, maybe if she accidentally, like, she's swatting at him or whatever, and, like,
she's swatting at him. I just think
like,
of Rocky Balboa, like...
No, I don't mean punching bag style. I just mean, like, she's trying to, like, you know, slap at him or whatever, and, like, fucking wax his nuts.
When do you slap the nuts? Like, it's like when she's just sort of doing her little cat fight thing, and she accidentally seizes the nuts and rips them off.
Also, isn't he wearing pants? Like, I'm wondering. Or, like, the nuts would be really hard to get to if they were wearing those dress-like robe things that they always wore. Like, how would you even get to the nuts? Because, like, the way fabric works when your legs are spread is there's no way she could, like, get in to get them.
Right. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
Did they have Hanes back then?
No.
No? You think maybe jock straps?
No.
So they were just commando all the time?
I mean, I don't know. I guess if I was wearing a dress all the time that was all the way to the ground with a rope tied around my waist, I'd probably go with,
you gotta admit, though.
The breeze.
Yeah, you gotta admit, though, like, that would be a showstopper for a fight. It's like you're getting ready, you're about to take on this guy, and then all of a sudden your wife comes out and just grabs his nuts. It's like, honey, what the fuck? Why don't you do that to me?
Yeah, I know. And the other guy is like,
hey, you're lucky I love to have my nuts beat upon.
Yeah, just a little more gently, sweetheart. Just a little more gently. Okay, so that's all we have for crimes against people. All right, are you ready for crimes against property?
Yes,
Not
more crimes
women.
against women.
No, property.
Women are property.
Property.
If anything that I know about the Bible, women are property.
Stealing is prohibited. You shall not steal.
Don't steal
chapter
women.
5. Theft of personal property. A thief must certainly make restitution, but if he has nothing, he must be sold to pay for his theft.
Whoa. What?
Yeah, so if a person who, like, I'm thinking about, like, Aladdin, right? So, like, Aladdin goes and steals the loaf of bread, right? Well, he doesn't have any way to pay for it, so he can't make restitution for it. So he has to be sold into slavery in order to make restitution.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine, like what we do now is we just, put them in debt for the rest of their lives. But nope, you got to be sold into slavery.
Mm-hmm. Also, don't steal anybody's animals. If a man steals an ox or a sheep and slaughters it or sells it, he must pay back 5 head of cattle for the ox and 4 sheep for the sheep. If the stolen animal is found alive in his possession, whether ox or donkey or sheep, he must pay back double.
Wonder how many people are like, he stole my sheep. He stole it. You saw it. I got 2 people here that says he stole my sheep. And then he gets 4 sheep in return. I mean, I don't know. It seems like a pretty good way to scam it.
Yeah, people might have. They might have done that. I don't know. Okay. Theft of real property.
Real women.
Property. Do not move your neighbor's boundary stone set up by your predecessors in the inheritance you receive in the land the Lord your God has given you to possess.
What in the fuck is a boundary stone?
A boundary stone is like a land marker. It's like you know how you have a property line? Mm-hmm. Well, usually like in neighborhoods where they're building houses, they have like stakes to, you know, designate where the property line is. Mm-hmm. Well, so usually when people have houses in a neighborhood, they remove the stakes. Well, so this a boundary stone, it was like indicated where the property line was.
Okay. It just seems really funny to me. It's like, don't you dare touch my boundary stone. Mm-hmm. I will fuck your shit up with my boundary stone.
Okay, so next time, we're done for today.
Yay!
Okay. Next time we're going to talk about personal rights and remedies. Okay?
Like homeopathic remedies or?
Well, we're going to talk about restitution for loss. Okay?
Okay.
We're going to talk about seduction.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. Don't you be seducing yourselves now, men. Yeah, put your hand away.
It's not about seducing yourselves. It's about seducing a virgin.
Oh.
Okay. Injuries and damages. Apparently having open pits is a problem. Masters and servants. We're going to talk about acquiring slaves.
Because the Bible condones slavery.
Yeah.
Obviously.
We're going to talk about credit, interest, and collateral. Right? We're going to talk about this is where all the Jew money jokes come from.
Oh, goddamn.
Because they talk about charging interest, they talk about pledges, they talk about lending and obligations and things like that. So it's interesting how they set up financial rules here.
Yeah.
Yeah. They even talk about lending to other nations. Yeah. We're going to talk about contracts and agreements.
Well, to be fair, I think that the whole Jew and money thing was actually kind of cemented in the 30s with Hitler and whatnot, because he needed a scapegoat for rising to power and everything. And the Jews were one. What he did was he convinced the German people that the Jews were hoarding all of this money.
Really?
Yeah, and he created this false persona of the Jews being greedy, and that's how he turned the German people against the Jews.
Gotcha. We're going to talk about weights and measures, inheritance. We're going to talk about levirate marriages. Okay.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about some dude's daughters.
All right.
Yeah. So we're going to do that, and that's going to be next time. There's a lot to go over next time, but the time after that, I'm really excited because we're going to talk about marriage, divorce, and sexual relations.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, and violations.
Ooh, violations. Oh, damn. It's gonna be a very wooden episode next time. So, heathens, what I want you to do right now is go down in the comments below and let me know, what would you demand on a silver platter for somebody that wronged you? Wasn't that the rule? Like, they wronged you in some way, and you get to request anything, like their nuts on a platter.
Well, for the one particular thing.
Yeah, we want to know what you would want.
Yeah.
Anyways, heathens, I hope that you enjoyed this episode today. Tune in next week for more Bible fun.
Yes, then don't forget to stand up and use your voice.
Bye, heathens.
Bye, y'all.